In the heart of Bradford, Ohio, where fields stretch under quiet skies, a farm stood as a haven of love. Jack and Linda Myers, bound by devotion, filled their home with laughter, raising their great-grandson, Dameon, as their own. At 4 years old, Dameon knew only the warmth of their embrace, the rumble of Jack's tractor, and Linda's gentle smile. They were his world, and he was theirs, a bond forged in the simple joys of rural life. But on a fateful morning in March 2003, a shadow crept into their sanctuary, tearing it apart with a brutality that would echo through the ages. When Dameon stumbled into his daycare, blood staining his pajamas, his trembling voice spoke of grandparents melting. A child's attempt to grasp an unthinkable horror. The discovery of Jack and Linda, lifeless in their bed, sent shockwaves through a community unaccustomed to such darkness. As police scoured the silent farmhouse, a chilling truth emerged. This was no random act, but a betrayal born from within. A son, trusted and loved, harbored a greed that turned kin against kin, threatening to bury the truth in the Stillwater River's depths. Yet in the heart of this tragedy stood Dameon, a boy whose courage defied his years. With eyes that saw too much, he faced a green monster in the night, his small frame carrying the weight of a family's legacy. As investigators unraveled a web of lies, Dameon's voice became their beacon, guiding them toward justice. But could a child's truth mend a shattered family? Could love endure where blood had been spilled? This is the story of a farm that held secrets, a boy who defied darkness, and a community that found light in loss. In the shadow of betrayal, one question lingers. Can the strength of a child's heart heal the wounds of a broken home? Step into the tale of Dameon Huffman, where love battles greed, and the past whispers lessons for the future. In Bradford, Ohio, on March 27, 2003, a tragedy shattered a close-knit family. 4-year-old Dameon Huffman lived on a 40-acre farm with his great-grandparents, Jack and Linda Myers, who raised him since birth. Jack and Linda, pillars of their community, ran a pizza shop and hosted family gatherings filled with laughter and love. Their farm was a sanctuary where Dameon thrived, often riding tractors with Jack or sharing meals with Linda. Amber, Dameon's mother, gave birth to him as a teenager in 1998. Jack and Linda welcomed her and Dameon into their home, supporting them unconditionally. By 2003, Amber, newly married, planned for Dameon to join her after preschool, starting kindergarten in a new neighborhood 30 minutes away. At 9:15 a.m. on March 27th, a 911 dispatcher received a chilling call from a preschool teacher. Dameon arrived at daycare alone, in blood-stained pajamas, claiming his grandparents were melting. Teachers recognized him as a student and feared the worst. Police farm, a mile away, unsure what to expect. The front door stood open, the house silent. Officers entered, guns drawn, moving through the kitchen to the bedroom. There, they found Jack and Linda, lifeless, covered in blood. Jack had a gunshot wound to the back of his head, Linda to her face and hand. Their bodies, still warm, indicated the murders occurred hours earlier. The scene suggested execution-style killings with no signs of burglary. Dameon, now under police protection at the daycare, became the sole witness. His safety was paramount, as investigators considered even family members suspects. Officers informed Amber of the tragedy, initially causing her to fear Dameon was also dead. Assured of his safety, she remained separated from him for his protection. News of the murders stunned Dark County, a peaceful community unaccustomed to such violence. Residents locked doors, fearing a killer on the loose. The investigation began, focusing on the crime scene. No valuables were taken, ruling out theft and pointing to a personal motive. A neighbor, John, suggested Greg Myers, Jack's son from his first marriage, as a potential suspect. Greg, 25, seemed an unlikely candidate. Polite, friendly, and best man at Jack's wedding to Linda, he had no criminal history. Brought in for questioning, Greg appeared emotional, providing a solid alibi. He was at work 30 miles away, supported by a timesheet. His shoes were 2 sizes larger than the crime scene footprints. He offered to take a lie detector test and allowed a home search showing cooperation. Despite this, investigators remained skeptical. Dameon's account offered a breakthrough. Using dolls and a model farmhouse, detectives helped him recount the morning. He described waking alone, checking on his grandparents and finding them dead. More chillingly, he recalled a stranger in a green jumpsuit holding a shotgun in his bedroom while he pretended this green monster terrified him. But his quick thinking saved his life 0.5 miles away. In the Stillwater River, police recovered a 12-gauge shotgun with its serial number sanded off. Forensic experts restored it, linking the weapon to a newspaper ad from March 25th, 2 days before the murders. The ad traced to Greg Myers, purchased from the gun's original owner. This evidence shifted the investigation, casting Greg as the prime suspect. The stage was set for a deeper probe into his motives and the truth behind the Myers murders. The investigation into the March 27, 2003, murders of Jack and Linda Myers in Bradford, Ohio, gained momentum as evidence pointed to Greg Myers, Jack's son. A 12-gauge shotgun, recovered from the Stillwater River, matched Dameon Huffman's description of the weapon held by the Green Monster. Its serial number, restored by forensics, linked to a purchase by Greg 2 days before the killings. This revelation challenged Greg's image as a devoted son, prompting detectives to scrutinize his life for a motive. Greg presented himself as cooperative during initial questioning. His alibi, working 30 miles away, held, supported by a timesheet. His shoes didn't match the size 7.5 footprints at the crime scene. Yet, the shotgun purchase raised doubts. Investigators uncovered Greg's financial struggles. His house faced foreclosure, payments ceased, and his future was uncertain. A critical discovery emerged. Jack and Linda's will named Greg as the inheritor of their 40-acre farm, a valuable asset. Greed emerged as a plausible motive, suggesting Greg killed to secure his financial stability. Further evidence: Stillwater River. A trash bag contained a green jumpsuit, matching Dameon's testimony, along with latex gloves bearing Greg's fingerprint, 12-gauge slugs identical to those used in the murders, and size 7.5 tennis shoes fitting the crime scene footprints. This collection tied Greg directly to the killings. Detectives confronted him again, questioning his financial troubles and the inheritance. Greg remained calm, denying involvement, but the evidence mounted against him. Dameon's account remained pivotal. At 4 years old, he woke alone on March 27th, sensing something wrong. Finding his grandparents dead, he described them as melting, unable to process the horror. He tried calling 911.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and it doesn't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
Calling 911, but the cut phone lines silenced the attempt. Recalling his daycare a mile away, Dameon ran through the fields in blood-stained pajamas to seek help. His bravery saved his life and alerted authorities. During interviews using a model farmhouse, Dameon revealed the intruder in his bedroom, a man in a green jumpsuit with a shotgun. Pretending to sleep, he avoided detection, providing a crucial clue. The crime scene corroborated Dameon's story. Cut phone lines, an open front door, and a basement window entry suggested premeditation. Blood in Dameon's bedroom indicated the killer's presence, aligning with his testimony. The investigation ruled out burglary, as valuables remained untouched. Greg's financial motive and physical evidence, shotgun, jumpsuit, gloves, and shoes, built a compelling case. By April 2004, Greg faced trial for 2 counts of aggravated murder, aggravated burglary, and illegal use of a silencer. The courtroom filled with family, grappling with his betrayal. Prosecutors presented the evidence, emphasizing the shotgun purchase, river findings, and Dameon's testimony. Dameon's words, simple yet haunting, described the green monster, resonating with the jury. On April 27, 2004, after 8 hours of deliberation, the jury found Greg guilty on all charges. The judge sentenced him to 2 life terms without parole, plus additional years for burglary and silencer use. Justice was served for Jack and Linda, but the family's pain persisted. Dameon, in protective custody during the investigation, reunited with his mother, Amber. They fulfilled the plan for him to live with her, starting kindergarten. The trial's end marked a turning point, but Dameon's healing journey was only beginning. On April 27, 2004, in Dark County, Ohio, a courtroom held its breath as the jury delivered its verdict in the trial of Greg Myers for the murders of his father, Jack, and stepmother, Linda Myers. Convicted of 2 counts of aggravated murder, aggravated burglary, and illegal use of a silencer, Greg received 2 life sentences without parole. The evidence: a shotgun traced to him, a green jumpsuit with his fingerprint, size 7.5 shoes matching crime scene footprints, and 12-gauge slugs, proved overwhelming. 4-year-old Dameon Huffman's testimony, describing a green monster with a shotgun, sealed Greg's fate. Justice for Jack and Linda, executed in their sleep on March 27, 2003, was served. The Myers family, gathered in the courtroom, faced the sting of betrayal. Amber, Dameon's mother, mourned the grandparents who raised her son, struggling to accept Greg's greed-driven motive. The farm, a 40-acre haven of family gatherings, was set to be inherited by Greg, whose financial ruin, foreclosure, and unpaid debts drove him to kill. The community of Bradford, shaken by the violence, grappled with fear and loss. Jack and Linda, known for their pizza shop and generosity, left a void. Yet, amidst the grief, Dameon's courage offered hope.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and it doesn't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
Kept in protective custody for safety, endured trauma from witnessing the murders. His nightmares of the green monster persisted, but his actions on that morning, running a mile to daycare in blood-stained pajamas after finding his grandparents dead, saved his life and alerted authorities. Reunited with Amber, Dameon began healing with counseling and her support. They fulfilled plan, with Dameon starting kindergarten in Amber's home. The love of his grandparents, who welcomed him as their own, remained a guiding light. By 2025, Dameon, now 22, thrives. Excelling in school, he works in manufacturing in Ohio and enjoys motorcycles. Amber speaks of his growth with pride, noting his strength reflects Jack and Linda's legacy. The Bradford community, once paralyzed by fear, honors the Myers' memory. Their farm, a symbol of joy turned tragedy, now represents resilience. Neighbors share stories of Jack and Linda's kindness, finding healing in unity. Dameon carries their spirit, living a life that honors their love. Questions linger. What deeper impulses drove Greg beyond greed? How will Dameon's trauma shape his future? These uncertainties invite reflection on betrayal, healing, and justice. The Myers legacy endures through Dameon, whose courage at 4 inspired a community. Jack and Linda's love, unbreakable despite loss, lives on in his every step, a testament to family and resilience.